there are about 15 separate occasions where such direct assaults have taken place. The Secret Service will obviously is bound to face questions on what happened and what led to this kind of assault. The image of President Trump with blood on his face and making a fist bump is going to be one of the defining images of the elections in the US in 2024, in November 2024.
Hello, viewers, readers, and listeners of the Indian Express. I am Flora Swai, and we have breaking news from the United States today where an assassination attempt was made on the Republican candidate and US former President Donald Trump. The social media and the media is replete on blow-by-blow accounts of what is happening, eyewitness accounts, the FBI and Secret Service statements. And today we have with us the diplomatic editor of the Indian Express, Shubhajit Roy, to talk to us on what does it mean on the larger context in terms of US elections and ripples on international relations. Shubhajit, tell us what is the story so far from the after the shooting happened in Pennsylvania late on Saturday for US and early in the morning in India.
Yeah, the facts as we know is that a gunman fired shots at the stage where former President Donald Trump was speaking at a rally. And President US former President Donald Trump, he suffered minor injuries to his head. And he made a vivid gesture of sort of putting his fist in the air before the Secret Service sort of whisked him away from the scene.
Yeah.
A rally goer was killed and two others have been wounded. The shooter has been shot dead. And as per last information, he was been identified as a 20-year-old man. Now, this kind of incident has taken place in a rural Western Pennsylvania county called Butler.
Yeah.
And that particular county is a very small place of about 13,000 people. It's mostly a Republican base. As per the last sort of elections, if one goes by the results of that particular place. And it's a farm ground where a small stage was set up with some a small press corps and about not more than 200, 250, 300 people. And President Trump was seen as sort of bleeding while he was taken away from the scene. The incident happened about 6:15 p.m. Only just about a couple of minutes after he started speaking at the rally, and so he sort of remained down for a minute, surrounded by Secret Service agents, and then he stood back up later, supported by the agents. He appeared injured, and blood was on his face. The you know, and Then the former president gave a fist pump, and he was ushered off the stage and whisked away in an SUV. Secret Service has sort of confirmed that a suspected shooter fired multiple shots towards the stage from an elevated position outside of the rally venue. Secret Service personnel have neutralized the shooter, who is now deceased. This is a statement from the Secret Service spokesperson. Now, according to media reports, an AR-15 type semi-automatic rifle was recovered from what is said to be a deceased white male, which the Secret Service believes was the gunman at the scene. The FBI is going to conduct a probe in cooperation with the police, local police, and so as a result, now U.S. President Joe Biden, he has condemned attacks. He said that there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. So these are President Biden's exact words. He was at his Delaware beach home for the weekend, um, and was in a Saturday mass when the shooting took place. And he was briefed on the situation after, and then he kind of was going to the White House. White House also said that Biden and Trump have spoken on the phone, but no details were sort of released about what they discussed. And so that's the sort of broadly what happened. And we've seen reactions from India. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he put out a tweet where he strongly condemned the incident and said that violence has no place in politics and democracies. So that has been the Indian reaction so far. Other world leaders have also condemned the incident. Keir Starmer, the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, he has condemned the incident. Then so there are several leaders. Also, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, he's also sort of condemned, denounced all forms of political violence. Now, in the US, there's been almost a bipartisan condemnation, starting from former President Barack Obama to the Senate Speaker Johnson, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. They've all roundly condemned this particular attack. And that's where we are right now.
Absolutely. The Secret Service has come up with a statement now, and the FBI has also, categorized this as a proper assassination attempt. Reuters is now alerting that the FBI has identified Thomas Matthew Crooks as the subject involved. Within double quotes, of course. This is just an alert by news agency Reuters, as per say. But Shubhajit, what I would want to ask you is, US has this precedence of assassination attempts, especially by shooting on presidents and governors. There have been 4 US presidents who have been assassinated by shooting. But and this entire thing began somewhere around the early 1900s, from 1912, and now we are in 2024. Would you call this a security lapse? As in, where does the Secret Service stand that, despite all the cutting edge technology, despite their intelligence, despite the local police authorities, the FBI and the Secret Service, assassination attempts are still happening? I mean, it's been 52 years now since the last attack, but still they are happening.
Yeah, Flora, as you rightly said, there have been precedent of sort of assassination attempts, or what can be called as direct assaults against presidents-elect, and candidates in the last 100 years or so. There are about 15 separate occasions where such direct assaults have taken place. The last president to face a direct attack was Ronald Reagan in 1981. It was a near fatal shooting that he sort of survived. But other presidents have also, have faced such direct assaults. The two most famous presidents who were killed were Abraham Lincoln, of course, and JFK, John F. Kennedy. And but later in 1912, you rightly pointed out, Theodore Roosevelt, he was when he was seeking the presidency after being out of office for nearly 4 years as a presidential candidate, just like President Trump, former President Trump. He has also had survived the attempt. Now, so attacks on presidents, targeted assaults on presidents have been common. Bill Clinton was sort of target of assault when White House was fired upon in 1994. And during George W. Bush in 2005, he also faced an attack when an attacker actually tossed a grenade, which did not explode. And that was that, but that happened in at a public gathering in Georgia in 2005, when he was meeting the president of Georgia at a public gathering. So these kind of attacks have taken place in the past, but so the Secret Service will obviously is bound to face questions on what happened and what led to this kind of assault, because the early images of the rally scene shared by various media outlets point out to the fact that the alleged shooter was able to climb a roof and fire a rifle at Trump from a building just about 400 feet, 500 feet away from the stage, well within the range of any trained marksman. So we can expect the Secret Service to face immediate and pointed questions about how a gunman was able to move so close to a protectee. In fact, House Speaker Mike Johnson has already said that the House will have Secret Service Director Kimberly and other appropriate officials from Homeland Security and FBI appear for a hearing before the committees as soon as possible. Attorney General Merrick Garland has also said that Justice Department would bring every available resource to bring to this to bear to this investigation. The FBI will be taking the lead role, obviously, in the probe. So the probes will not end there. The chairs of the House Oversight and Homeland Security Committees are already saying they intend to investigate what happened. So we can expect the law enforcement officials to focus immediately on identifying who pulled the trigger and why. So the motive will be to establish a motive will be important, but that may be a more complicated sort of task than it might seem, potentially involving forensic methods to identify both the shooter and the origin of his gun, and also sort of what could have led him to undertake this sort of attempt. So we can see in the next few weeks, few months, this particular probe becoming a much more job by the high priority task by the administration, obviously under pressure from the opposition, from the Republicans, and for the country as well. And it's election season. We might see this particular incident to be a pivotal moment in the US elections.
Before we move to the impact on the 5th of November elections of this assassination attempt, Shubhajit, I want to ask you कि आपको क्या लगता है कि इस अटेम्प्ट के पीछे मोटिव क्या हो सकता है? मोटिव मतलब अभी तो कहना इज डिफिकल्ट, बट क्या मोटिव हो सकता है?
अभी हमारे पास जो जानकारी है उसमें हमें बस ये पता है कि ये एक 20 साल के एक वाइट मेल शूटर थे। इसके बियॉन्ड हमारे पास कोई और तथ्य नहीं है। सो अभी ये कहना बड़ा मुश्किल है कि इसका मोटिव क्या है।
How do you see this assassination attempt in the long run to the US presidential elections and its results, and of course, the impact on US voters?
Well, there's no doubt all that the image of President Trump with blood on his face and making a fist pump is going to be one of the defining images of the elections in the US in 2024, in November 2024. There is no doubt about that. We'll have to see if this turns out to be the pivotal moment for the elections. Already, we know that US President Biden has been polling badly or poorly behind President Trump. In fact, President Biden's recent gaffes and sort of poor performance in the presidential debate has raised questions about his eligibility. A lot of Democrats, congressmen, supporters, even like Democrat, prominent Democrat like George Clooney, who's a big Hollywood actor and who's done fundraisers for President Biden, has asked him to step aside and let Vice President Kamala Harris to contest as a presidential candidate. So while this complication was on within the Democratic campaign, this particular assassination attempt adds a layer of complexity in the campaign. And I think we'll have to see how this particular impacts, whether it enthuses the Republican voter base further, and it gives much more ballast um, to former U.S. President Donald Trump's campaign. Usually, such incidents have a sort of impact, a positive impact to candidates because they're seen as sort of fighting back, or he's put out a message just a while ago that he will not never surrender. So that kind of a defiance that he kind of would like to project in his campaign. So those elements we'll have to see how those elements play out.
Shubhajit, there are reports of Trump's body language right after the assassination. You know, when he was surrounded by the body shields of security service, but he still got up and he, pumped his fist in the air and apparently mouthed the words "fight, fight, fight." And there are reactions on it that uh, what would you have to say about that?
Well, obviously, his message that he put out, that will never surrender, and he did a fist bump. That is instinctive reaction, as sort of it speaks about himself. That he's as a nature, he doesn't want to be bullied or cowed down, and he sees himself as a very powerful. So he tries to project that power image, and let's that is instinctive reaction. So I think we'll see more of that in the coming weeks and months of the campaign, where he will obviously use this opportunity, use this image of him, as an act of defiance. And this assassination attempt might be an important turning point in his campaign.
Absolutely. Also, that his team is already sharing videos and pictures on social media where he's out in the New York airport. He has an event to attend in Texas. So I think, like you said, it's a moment of defiance for him that I am going to rise up no matter what, even if there are attempts on my life. At the same time, Shubhajit, talking about security lapses and attempts on the lives of political leaders, what message do you think this sends to global leaders? Because if you remember, right after Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi's helicopter crash, There were debates about, the health of the helicopters and, of world leaders throughout. Everyone underwent a maintenance check to see if their equipment is functioning. What do you think this assassination attempt tells the other world leaders?
Well, it's a very, there are a lot of conspiracy theories, and one should not pay too much attention to these conspiracy theories because, each incident is different. Each incident needs to be analyzed based on the facts of that particular incident. So, this incident is radically different from the Iranian president's chopper crash. So, social media is full of such conspiracy theories, but I think we have to assess and weight the facts of the case, how they come out. And that's what will tell us the real story.
Absolutely, Shubhajit. Thank you for talking to us. We are still running a live blog on the assassination attempt on US President Donald Trump's attack on the official website of the Indian Express. You can read all of our diplomatic editor Shubhajit Roy's articles on this incident on the Indian Express and, of course, on their website. For all the live updates, please stay tuned to our official YouTube channel on the Indian Express. Shubhajit, thank you for talking to us. That's all from us today. Thank you.